Right, all right. Praise God. I think that is good enough. All right, let me know if y'all can see that. I'm trying to clean it up right here. All right, bringing you breaking news that's matching biblical prophecy, all different kinds of news around the world. All right, so I'm going to let you hear some sound bites of some videos that's been taking place so that you know for yourself that it is in other medias as well. We are just living in the last days, seeing things that is taking place. With that being said, we thank each and every one of you guys to Last Days Prophecy Church.
Is suing Donald Trump's administration over a ban on its antivirus software from use on its employees' machines. In a new blog post, the company's co-founder and CEO, Eugene Kaspersky, insists that the U.S. Department of Homeland Security has rejected his offers to clear up any confusion about the software. He goes on to add that the DHS's actions have caused a disproportionate and unwarranted adverse impact on Kaspersky Labs' consumer, commercial, and state, local, and education business interests in the United States and globally.
All right. Sorry about that, Brother Richard. Let me know if you're able to see it now. Okay, there's another one it is that I wanted to show you. I've got many on here, so bear with me as well. And plus, note that I am downloading, updating some stuff as well, so it's taking a little bit. All right, I'll get to that one maybe. Now, let's see. Okay, there was one that I was here we go. Welcome, brother, welcome. All right, now I'm going to let that one upload. And this one here, it is talking about China and Russia challenge U.S. influence. Okay, all right, thank you, Sister Jill. I'll get on that here soon. And I'll try to get a hold of Brother Ricky about that. All right, now, sorry about that. With that being said, I'm going to let you hear this.
Drifted from American principles. They lost sight of America's destiny, and they lost their belief in American greatness. As a result, our citizens lost something as well. The people lost confidence in their government and eventually even lost confidence in their future. We also face rival powers, Russia and China, that seek to challenge American influence, values, and wealth. We will attempt to build a great partnership with those and other countries, but in a manner that always protects our national interest. As an example, yesterday I received a call from President Putin of Russia thanking our country for the intelligence that our CIA was able to provide them concerning a major terrorist attack planned in St. Petersburg, where many people, perhaps in the thousands, could have been killed. They were able to apprehend these terrorists before the event with no loss of life, and that's a great thing. And the way it's supposed to work. That is the way it's supposed to work. But while we seek such opportunities of cooperation, we will stand up for ourselves and we will stand up for our country like we have never stood up before. The third pillar of our strategy is to preserve peace through strength. We recognize that weakness is the surest path to conflict, and unrivaled power is the most certain means of defense. For this reason, our strategy breaks from the damaging defense sequester. We're going to get rid of that.
All right, now the other one, I'm going to try to get it. North Korea hackers make fast cash for the regime. So I'm going to try to get that up here as well, and then plus of the accident that had taken place also in Seattle, Washington. So bear with me as I'm trying to get everything uploaded here.
The day after chemo.
And then the other one is right here.
Meet obligations over its plummeting sales and enormous debt, Sears has been selling off valuable brands and properties. Due to this, analysts say the discount chain Kmart, which is owned by Sears Holdings, is in danger of shutting down entirely. As their business dwindles, Sears has been shutting down Kmart stores far more rapidly than namesake stores and laying off full-time employees at stores that remain open. In a recent statement, Sears said it is focused on improving its performance and enhancing its liquidity. The company adds it also expects to reach positive adjusted earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization in 2018.
All right, let's see if the other one is. No, almost. And then we're fixing to go to the California wildfires as well that's been taking place. I'm going to let that upload there. And this is where we were just at. Get out of that. Okay. Why won't it let me go there?
Go where?
Hmm?
Go where?
Oh, something happened.
That video's ready to play.
Yeah, well, I know, but I was looking at this. Well, I can't. It's having a problem.
Attacks are tracing back to North Korea's wallet. Pyongyang's hackers have netted millions of dollars in virtual currencies like Bitcoin, with more attacks expected to be on the way as international sanctions drive the country to seek new ways to make cash.
Trying to hold the
According
phone
to
and do
analysts,
this.
it's the sky-high jump in value this year that makes Bitcoin an attractive target for the North. Pyongyang's state-backed hackers are being linked to a rising number of cybercrimes, including the so-called WannaCry attack that crippled hospitals, banks, and other companies around the world earlier this year by effectively holding devices hostage. South Korea is home to some of the world's busiest virtual currency exchanges and accounts, hosting about a quarter of Bitcoin trading in any given day. Researchers say that attacks earlier this year on exchanges like BitThumb, Coinbase, and Ubit in the South all have the digital fingerprints of hackers from North Korea. Seoul is now considering countermeasures over the attacks, including additional sanctions. Sources tell Reuters the amount stolen could be worth up to $82 million.
All right, that was North Korea. Hackers made fast cash for the regime. Now, I think this is what I was wanting to do. While that's doing that, I'll go here real quick. Whoa. All right, let's go here. All right. Pope Francis, as you're seeing right here. Now, I'm not going to. Jordan's king, okay, discusses Trump's Jerusalem move. Okay, as you can see a little bit here through some pictures here. I'll try to show those to you guys. All right. Anyways, let me try to read a little bit here to you guys. Pope Francis and Jordan King on Tuesday discussed U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital, a move that both say is dangerous to the Middle East peace, which is, if I can get it up right there, is right here. It is that I was just reading off to you guys. This is very important. Now, I'm briefly going to go here. So basically, they spoke privately for about 20 minutes after the start of the King's visit to the Vatican and France, right, which is right there, instead of reading the whole thing. Now, anyways, we are definitely starting to see things there that is taking place. So we are going to see more of things that is going to be heating up, more discussions that will be taking place. Now, about what had taken place, and I'm talking about right here, recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. So we are definitely going to be seeing more and hearing more things in this aspect. So, all right, Christmas cheer. North Korea bans parties with alcohol and singing. I'll try to get on that a little bit. All right, Facebook, Microsoft disabled North Korea cyber actions, U.S. says. Let me try to open that real quick. And I'll try to get on that one too. This actually just came out 9 minutes ago, so bear with me. All right, now it states right here. I'm just going to kind of briefly go over it a little bit. Facebook, Income, and Microsoft Corporation act last week to disable a number of potential North Korea cyber threats, is what the White House officials basically has stated. So basically, May cyber attack that crippled hospital, banks, and other companies. I'll just give you the brief headline, right there. So, we know what all that's about pretty much. So, anyways, that has also a ban. I want to take you here. Give me a second.
Drew, you've done a lot of reporting on this very specific line. What can you tell us?
Yeah, and our focus of that reporting was this was being sold, John, as high-speed rail, but it was really just getting slow trains to move a little faster, and that's exactly what this train did. This brand new line was basically rerouted around a congestion area in Tacoma, which got it off the tracks of freight trains and put it on a more straight route between Seattle and Portland. Its speed does appear to be the factor here, but this again is a brand new stretch of track. It's refurbished or re-engineered track that would take about 10 minutes off the total time between Seattle and Portland, and it just started today.
So just 10 minutes. These additional costs and improvements, it was a 10-minute difference?
Yeah, and that was the focus of our reporting. This was a bigger project, $800 million to just shave 10 minutes off of this trip. This was the last portion of it. Kyung said it was a $180 million portion of it. In fact, the locomotive engine that is now on I-5 was part of the new purchase. That's a brand new diesel-electric locomotive that is now trashed on the highway. That was part of this improvement project. But it was never about high-speed trains. This was not a high-speed track that we think about with high-speed trains. It wasn't a brand new track, the type that they have in Europe or Japan. This was basically just what the U.S. has been doing with its train, just trying to get these old trains to move a little quicker. And it appears like this train may have been moving too fast in the turn which it made. It was supposedly only allowed to go about 30 miles an hour there, but this train appeared to be going a lot faster based on the witnesses that we have on the scene.
And Drew, there are a lot of unanswered questions here, obviously, and the investigation is just beginning. But this was the inaugural journey of the train on this train line after all these improvements. You would think that there would be test after test after test before sending passengers down this rail for the very first time.
And apparently there was test after test after test. But what
Hello, my sister. All right, let's see.
kind of tests?
All right, this one here, give me just a brief moment here. Let this advertisement stuff go away. Now, basically, right here, I'll try to read down here if I can actually see it from here. I'm trying to see through the phone. Talking about North Korea regime. All right, so basically, we're just standing ready and why is this thing not playing? Okay. Oh, now it's wanting to play. All right. We'll go ahead and let that do that real quick. Yeah, we kind of knew that. Declares North Korea carried out crybaby cyber. That's kind of what we were just going over right there. All right, Japan to expand ballistic missile defense with ground base. So let me try to open that up. Give me just a second as that's doing that. Dead sharks wash up on Iran Island. I'll try to open that in just a moment. I can only do so much here. Let's see if this is ready yet. Almost ready. And then we'll let that play out. All right. Japan firmly decided on Tuesday it would expand its ballistic missile defense system with U.S.-made ground-based engines, radar stations. I probably didn't even say that right, so forgive me. And interceptors in response to a growing threat from North Korea rockets. All right. So basically, that's what's going on. Just the briefness right there for you guys as well. Now, let me read right here real quick instead of the whole thing, because I'll put it up on the website here shortly. The threat posted to our country by North Korea's nuclear and missile development has reached a new stage, the Defense Ministry said in a statement, okay? And the decision to acquire the ground vision of the missile defense system, which is already deployed on Japan's warships, was widely expected. Now, North Korea on November the 29th tested a new, more powerful ballistic missile that it says can hit major U.S. cities, including Washington, fly over Japan's current defense shield. There we go. So, anyways, I wanted to go ahead and report on that since I'm seeing that because that's breaking news matching biblical prophecy. So, anyways, they are just adding up their ballistic missile defense there in Japan, and I don't blame them. And I'm just saying that to be truthful. I really don't blame them. We are just living in that time today, folks, more than ever before. So, anyways, let's try to go there real quick.
Solution to this?
Of course, that's what we want. But we're not committed to a peaceful. We're committed to a resolution. We want the resolution to be peaceful, but as the president has said, all options are on the table, and we have to be prepared if necessary to compel the denuclearization of North Korea without the cooperation of that regime.
Leading Republicans, such as Senator Lindsey Graham, have said that there's a 30% chance of war. And if they continue with these missile strikes, it could go up to 70%. Is war imminent?
Well, the chances of war, who knows what they are. They could go up or down, I think, based on what we all decide to do. I mean, North Korea is a grave threat to all civilized people across the globe.
Let's talk about Russia. All of the U.S. intelligence community has said that Russia interfered, meddled in the 2016 elections. Putting the politics to one side, would you say that this is a national security risk and threat?
Oh, certainly it is. And so what this national security strategy, actually we say it explicitly in the document, that this strategy views the world as it is, right? It doesn't create some sort of aspirational model. And so that's what we have to view Russian behavior as. We have to look at really what Russia's actually doing. Of course, we have to counter Russia's destabilizing behavior and the sophisticated campaigns of propaganda and disinformation, efforts to polarize communities and pit them against each other, especially in the democratic world and in free and open societies. They use that openness and freedom against countries, I think, to weaken their popular will and their resolve.
But do you believe that Russia meddled in the 2016 elections?
I believe that Russia is engaged in a very sophisticated campaign of subversion to affect our confidence in democratic institutions, in democratic processes, including elections.
Including your elections.
What they used is propaganda and disinformation on both sides. They'll support very left groups. They'll support very right groups. And so what they want to do is create the kind of tension, the kind of vitriol that undermines our confidence in who we are.
But is this something the president is saying as well?
Yes, of course. And
he's acknowledging that this kind of meddling took place?
He's acknowledged it publicly.
So will you ensure that this doesn't happen in the future?
Well,
this kind of interference?
Yeah, to the degree that we have agency and control over it, certainly. But I think, again, one of the most important things to do is to pull the curtain back on this activity, right, and to expose it.
Would your life be easier if the president stopped tweeting?
Aristotle said, focus on what you can control and you can make a difference. And the president will do what the president wants to do. And it's his way of reaching the American people. And it's a communication mode that is very successful for him. He has quite a number of followers around the world. And so my job is not to worry about Twitter.
All right. Now, this was multiple deaths that had taken place in Seattle yesterday about the train derailed. So give me a brief moment as I try to get that pulled up for you guys. It might be taking a little bit longer because I actually got something downloading in the back. Alrighty.
I stopped by my neighborhood Elder's Ace to get an extra Kool-Aid. Steven met me at the door.
Doing that. Showing that. Alright, U.S., Russia, Japan cruise arrive at space station. Alright, so basically an update here talking about the train derails in Washington. They're saying here that it has killed at least 3. So I wanted to go ahead and bring that to your attention as well. Here we go. Well, that still wasn't that. At least 1 dead in a London stabbing attack that had taken place. 5 injured as well. That is one of the latest videos that is out. I'll try to go see what I can find out about that and bring that, try to bring that to enlightenment to the table as well. So.
After an Amtrak train derailed on a bridge over a major highway in Washington state. The accident left at least 1 train car dangling onto the southbound lanes of Interstate 5 in the city of DuPont, where emergency vehicles swarmed the scene. According to media reports, passengers were forced to kick out train windows in order to escape because emergency doors were not functioning properly.
It was like we were turning and spinning, and the train behind us hit us, and it was just like a whole lot going on.
Amtrak said about 78 passengers and 5 crew members were on board.
Multiple cars and trucks were struck by train cars that left the train tracks and went down onto the road. The people that were in all the vehicles, even though when you see the pictures, it's pretty horrific. At this point, nobody in any of the vehicles is a fatal. The fatals are all...
Well, okay then. I guess I should have.
...contained to the train.
According to the state's transportation department, the accident happened on the first day Amtrak's trains began using a new...
Really? It says yes. Sorry about that. I thought that it might have been done. All right. So, as that's continuing to go there, I want to bring you somewhere else. Okay, it's done.
Track between the cities of Tacoma and Olympia, allowing the trains to reach speeds of up to 79 miles per hour.
Wow. All right, Trump's rolling out his national security plan. I want to go ahead and play this for you, so give me a moment as it tries to upload here for you guys. Now, with that being said, let's go here. And what was the other one that I was just seeing? Yeah, I've seen that. All right, Italy so far spared from ISIS terror attacks on high alert. Here we go, I think. This was actually 9 hours ago. Donald Trump and Putin closer than ever before. After President Donald Trump spoke by phone on Sunday, from a cabin at Camp David to his Russian counterpart, Putin. Now, I want to go ahead and clarify something here. Now, we know that as you're seeing, President Donald Trump, sorry about that. I'm trying to hold my phone and do this at the same time. President Donald Trump and Putin. All right. Now, we know that the bear, which is a Putin, matter of fact, this guy right here, he's going to come and he's going to attack the United States of America, is biblical prophecy, folks. So, anyways, you're definitely going to start to see things that is honestly going to start taking place. But, anyways, the press release is describing their call featured something unusual. Okay, now, when we go here, I was wondering what you were doing. I was like, whoa, what is that? Lord. Sorry, I got my boys with me here, so, because of the holidays. So, anyways, you are seeing things that is taking place with Donald Trump, and it just won't let me do that. There it will. Oh, I know why. That is starting to take more of effect because it's matching biblical prophecy. And this is where things that's, you know, you might hear and all these things right now that could be taking place with them too right there. But then evidently it's going to come to a split and halt, like boom, it's not going to be there. Let's see if I can do that again. Right here is going to be, you know, coming to and halt. So, yeah, that's going to take place. I was wondering what happened with that. I guess it just took off. I was trying to still read that. I wanted to read that, but okay.
It's right there.
All right, 136 killed in Saudi-led strikes on Yemen in 10 days. Now, I want to go ahead and report on that as well. Real quick, this came out 3 hours ago. At least 136 civilians have been killed over 10 days of Saudi-led air strikes on Yemen this month, the United Nations said on a Tuesday. So we are definitely starting to see, as I was reporting on the other day, a growth that is taking place. So they're saying 136 killed and another 87 injured, okay, during the airstrikes. Okay, and we are going to start seeing more of attentions here because we are living in the last days. It is matching biblical prophecy, and I've stated about this many times before how that it does actually fit into biblical prophecy. So anyways, I don't have to go over that right at this particular time of moment, but anyways, That's what's taking place. 136 have been confirmed dead within 10 days. Okay, and where's it at? I just seen it. 87 has been, injured as well. Now we are going to see a growth that here. Saudi-led strikes in Yemen because it's biblical prophecy. So don't forget that. We are just seeing more and more that has taken place. Now, I want to go ahead and I was looking for that.
America is
Wildfires.
gaining wealth, leading to enhanced power faster than anyone thought, with $6 trillion more in the stock market alone since the election. $6 trillion. With the strategy I am announcing today, we are declaring that America is in the game and America is going to win. This strategy recognizes that we cannot secure a nation if we do not secure our borders. So for the first time ever, American strategy now includes a serious plan to defend our homeland. It calls for the construction of a wall on our southern border, ending chain migration and the horrible visa and lottery programs, closing loopholes that undermine enforcement, and strongly supporting our Border Patrol agents, ICE officers, and Homeland Security personnel. The first time, American strategy recognizes that economic security is national security. Economic vitality, growth, and prosperity at home is absolutely necessary for American power and influence abroad. Any nation that trades away its prosperity for security will end up losing both.
All right, now I'm going to bring you here. Give me a moment. All right, I'm trying to get where I need to be. That's still downloading in the back. Oh, it's taking a little bit longer. All right. Let's see. Praise the Lord. Amen. Thank y'all for tuning in to Last Days Prophecy Church. We love each and every one of you guys very much in the name of the Lord. Amen. Let's see if they have any recent on here yet. Well, I already got that one up there. Yeah, we've just got through that. I think that we said that one. Anyways, I'm not seeing anything in particular at this moment, but let me see. Here, give me a second. Oh, there we go. That might be something. Yeah. There we go. Let's see. This is grabbing. Now, that's not who I was going to. No. There we go. There we go. Thank you, folks, for bearing with me in the name of Jesus. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And it might not work. It should work.
Time now for Focus, and today we have a report on the influence of Turkey in Jarablus, a city in northern Syria. Just across the Turkish border, it was liberated from the Islamic State group just over a year ago with the help of Turkey. Ankara also helping with rebuilding, and the population has boomed. Fatma Kisibolga and Hussein Assad sent us this report.
This line of trucks grows a little longer every day, now stretching several kilometers along the border between Turkey and Syria. The trucks carry goods that Ankara allows to be transported to areas controlled by the Free Syrian Army Brigades, who benefit from its support.
Most of the time we transport iron and cement to supply the construction work in areas controlled by the Turkish army, but we're not allowed to go further down south past Jarablus.
These drivers are not the only ones crossing the border. According to the Turkish authorities, an average of 200 refugees return to Syria each day. This is a one-way ticket home. They will not be allowed back into Turkey.
It's time to go back now. We've spent the past 5 years here in Turkey and we miss our family, our people. So this is why we're heading back to Syria, to Jarablus.
Jarablus, a city backed by the Turkish border, was retaken last year from the hands of the Islamic State organization as part of the Operation Euphrates Shield launched by Ankara. Since then, the city has changed dramatically. Its reconstruction has been led by this man, Yashar Aksanyar. He's the person in charge of coordinating the aid sent by Turkey. The Syrians call him governor, like the days of the former Ottoman Empire.
9 districts are located within our security zone, under our protection. 1.5 million people are living there in peace and comfort.
Security in the city centre is entrusted to the new police force, made up of former opposition rebels. 600 men, trained and equipped by the Turkish army, are now responsible for policing the population. But this sergeant admits that the safety of this region of northern Syria relies mainly on the presence of Turkish soldiers.
Our Turkish friends support us enormously. They advise us, sometimes they stand guard with us and provide us with information and weapons. Most importantly, they provide us with weapons.
This support is far from limited to military matters. In Jarablus, even the fire trucks come from Turkey.
All right, I'm going to bring you to 2 others here. Yemen, a war that has claimed thousands of lives. So I want to bring you there real quick as well.
Only last week we saw the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, providing what she said was clear forensic evidence of Iranian involvement. She provided fragments from the rocket.
Biblical prophecy, folks.
At Riyadh Airport on November the 4th. The problem with much of the evidence, though, was that it wasn't conclusive. Most experts said that yes, it's pushes things further down the road, but leaves unanswered a number of questions, like where did the rockets come from? They could have come from North Korea, for instance. When were they sent? How were they sent? None of these questions were satisfactorily answered, but in a sense, it's almost besides the point, because the key here, I think, is that Saudi Arabia is going to use what has happened, as it did in November, to justify its own narrative about how this war started, who's responsible for it, obviously Iran in this case, rather than to address the original causes of the war. Where did it all start? What are the roots of this conflict? So at the moment, I think we're in a situation where a war that has claimed thousands and thousands of lives, many of them civilians, is going to intensify with neither side, and possibly Iran is involved. The problem is we don't have any clear evidence at the moment, but ultimately we're in a situation where nobody is going to accept responsibility, and thousands of civilians are going to keep on dying.
Now, Saudi Arabia is trying to occupy the moral high ground in this conflict, presenting itself as the defender of the established order. But the war, as you mentioned, has caused untold human misery and massive damage to Yemen's infrastructure. Is there any sign that this conflict is drawing to a close?
Well, I mean, first of all, there is no moral high ground in this war. You know, the Saudi coalition has blasted Yemen's infrastructure into smithereens. What there was of it anyway, it was a very poor country even before this conflict started. But what infrastructure they had hospitals, schools, roads, bridges, has been all but obliterated. The Houthis too have to take their share of responsibility. You know, this is a conflict that's driven by greed, ambition, and corruption. So you know, nobody can claim they've got the moral high ground in this conflict. But as to whether this war is any nearer to the end, the simple answer is no, it appears not. There did appear to be some hopes that when ex-President Saleh was killed at the beginning of the month, that somehow might provide the impetus for an end to the conflict. It hasn't worked out that way. The Houthis seem more entrenched than before. The Saudis seem to sense an opportunity for getting an illusory victory, and the war goes on. You mentioned the suffering of the ordinary people of Yemen. 25% of the population is in danger of one of the worst famines mankind has ever faced, according to the United Nations. 3 million people have been forced out of their homes. You know, as I mentioned earlier, 10,000 civilians have been killed, and no sign that this conflict is going to end.
Biblical prophecy, folks. We are seeing more things like this that is taking place, but war has taken thousands of lives, and I know that we just went over this not long ago.
Last month, a similar missile was intercepted over Riyadh's airport. Meanwhile, a UN human rights spokesperson has said airstrikes in Yemen by the Saudi-led coalition have killed at least 136 civilians in the last 2 weeks alone. Joining me now in the studio, our chief foreign editor, Rob Parsons. Now, Rob, the attack that I mentioned, the one last month over the airport in Riyadh, led to strong accusations by Saudi Arabia, as well as the US, that Iran was fueling the war in Yemen. This latest attack likely to intensify the war of words, but is there any substance to the charge that Iran is responsible?
Well, there's no doubt that it will lead to an intensification of the war of words. And only last week we saw the US ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, providing what she said was clear forensic evidence of Iranian involvement. She provided fragments from the rocket that was fired by the Houthis at Riyadh Airport on November the 4th. The problem with much of the evidence, though, was that it wasn't conclusive. Most experts said that, yes, it's pushes things further down the road, but leaves unanswered a number of questions, like where did the rockets come from? They could have come from North Korea, for instance. When were they sent? How were they sent? None of these questions were satisfactorily answered, but in a sense, it's almost besides the point, because the key here, I think, is that Saudi Arabia is going to use what has happened, as it did in November, to justify its own narrative about how this war started, who's responsible for it, obviously Iran in this case, rather than to address the original.
Alright, I think that
we are on air.
Yes, we are on, in the name of the Lord, amen. I think so. Welcome.